tonight I am going to finish getting the car running. Alright, so it's been a couple of days since I finished putting the spark plug wires on or whatever. We figured out that there was something wrong with the car still. I figured out what it was, why it was missing on two cylinders. I cracked the distributor cap when I was putting it together. So I've got a new distributor cap and rotor and all the parts that go within there. I am going to start the process of doing all that, but I'm going to do a bunch of different stuff also. There's leaky tranny cooler lines. I'm going to change out the antifreeze that's in it because it's kind of old and I don't know how old it is and it's a little mixed stuff. I'm going to try and fix one of the lines. I'm going to show you some other stuff that I've found along the way in this video that we're going to probably have to make another video on. I'm like running out of time to get this car done to be able to drive to Tucson. Mainly, we're going to get the radiator out, get the condenser out, get that out of there like I talked about. We're going to change the water pump, and I'm going to put a new distributor cap and rotor in it and get the thing running properly. That is the main goal of this video. So, yeah, I think that's about it. But tonight, you see all this crap? Before I can do anything, I got to get this place cleaned up because this is just what it's turned into. I kind of just move in and out of here while I get parts and put other parts in and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and get this cleaned up so that it looks proper. Not looks proper, sorry, so that I can actually use it, okay? My tools are all just kind of thrown out there. There's some down there, some behind me. I did get new tires on the car. Yeah, a lot to be done yet and very little time to get it done. So I'm going to take tonight and clean this garage out and maybe get a little bit done on the car. The radiator emptied out, so there's no coolant in it anymore. That's the starting process of getting all that out of there. I need to remove the transmission lines yet. Anyway, let's start doing this. I'll check in whenever we get to somewhere where it makes sense to check in, okay? All right. Working on this. Actually, before I did that, I'm not looking forward to cleaning that out. Anyway, see all this? Look at that crap. That's not antifreeze, that's rust. Oh, it must be just sitting in there. Not very good. We may have to kind of flush this system before we put the new antifreeze in it, I think. Yeah. I think at least what I'm going to do is dump some water down the top hose and flush that back to get water to come out the bottom hose. Try and get that engine cleaned out, and then we may do the same with the radiator. And it looks pretty bad. So it is the next day, afternoon actually. I worked a little bit into the night, and we're just kind of working on it. I got the radiator out last night. And also, as you can see, I also cleaned up this area quite a bit. I still got some stuff that needs to be put away. Looks to me like that was leaking for a long time. Just spraying stuff out. The back of it has been sucking it through there. Gonna have to clean that out somehow. It was also inside the tranny cooler, or the external tranny cooler. Been trying to clean that out with parts cleaner, just spraying it through there. This thing's been schmucked. They hit something with the front end here. And this here is the fitting that wasn't quite in there right. I'm guessing it's not totally sinking in there anymore. I'm going to have to clean that up, see what we can do. Hopefully it's not the radiator. Hopefully it's that fitting. We can do something about it. Getting ready to pull the water pump. Everything's pretty much disconnected from it. And these hoses are just hanging there. There's a sensor right underneath here, the one that I didn't know what it was. And it's just, you can't really see it. It's underneath there. It's actually the coolant temperature gauge sensor. So I'm going to stick another one in there, but it's going to be like a analog gauge. It's not going to go through the computer and stuff like that. We've got an oil pressure gauge and a voltage gauge as well. All those are going to be going in just so we can monitor things. All in all, we're getting there. Just a little bit more to do, and hopefully the car will be starting. We're going to get the water pump on, and we're going to get the new distributor cap on, and get the radiator cleaned out and other thing cleaned out. I mean, the transmission, the external cooler here, I'm going to get that finished cleaning out. This here was completely covered in oil, and it has been for some time. I mean, if you look how rusty this side is in comparison to that side, I mean, it's been rusty or it's been covered in crap for a while. So I'm going to try and pound that little thing down and get it a little flatter, at least maybe try and look a little bit like this side here. Anyway, I'm going to kind of get started here and finish up a couple things that I was doing. I actually also got grease, so I'm going to get underneath there sometime and grease up those things today. Hopefully this radiator doesn't take a whole night, to get in, but we'll see. I'm going to get started. We are now 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, into a job that I thought was going to be about an hour. And, it is what it is. The thermostat or temperature gauge end thingy that I was going to put in, it didn't fit, didn't work. I got to get something else for that. We're now working on the distributor, and well, let's show you here. I had to break it apart into 2 pieces here so that I could break it off, because these little bolts are smaller than any of the sockets that I have or anything else. I can't get them off of the vice grip right now, so I broke it off. Now I've got to take the balancer off, apparently, because to get to the bottom bolt here, you have to get take the balancer off. So that's where we're at, I guess. That's all I'm saying. It couldn't have gone any worse. Tech tip of the day is that you don't just do a tune-up on an LT1. It's a little bit more involved than that. Lesson learned, okay? So I'm going to keep working here, see what I can do. Hopefully now I can get these bolts out that they're, most of the plastic is broken off. We'll check in if anything changes. Okay? Thanks. All right. So it is actually the next night. It's completely dark outside again. And things didn't go well. I ended up getting the distributor cap off, and then went and started pulling, trying to twist those screws out, and got one out, and then the other 3 broke. So I had to take it up to the machinist. That's how it sits. Then he took and run a tap through all these. This is the only one I was able to get out. This one, little one here. This one he got out, and he got that one out, and then we ran taps through those 3, and he had to drill this one out. So I don't know what we're gonna do yet. If I'm just gonna run it with 3, and then maybe come back at another time and try and put another one in there. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just trying to get it put together now so that it runs. Hopefully it won't be an issue. Maybe after I've got the Cherokee running properly, then I can take and get that bolt in here. But that's what I'm doing tonight, is just trying to get this distributor back on. I wasn't able to work on it this morning. I mean, I guess I could. There was things I could have done, but not a lot. I mean, we're pretty much got it ready to go last night, so that all I got to do is put this back together and put it on, and we should be able to run it. I'd like to have spent a little bit more time maybe on this and clean it up a little bit, but we're not going to do some of that stuff, some of the stuff I want to do, because now it just needs to get done. So I'm going to play around here a little bit, see if I can get the cap and stuff like that to bolt on properly while it's outside the car, and then we'll see what to do when we get it put on the car. So I guess that's what we're doing now. All right, so as you can see, everything is, well, messy again. I think it was clean for maybe about 5 hours yesterday. Took all that time to clean it up and then just messed it up right away again. So I guess that's just the way it goes, huh? Hey, I've been looking for that. Should be another one floating around here somewhere too. Shoot. Man. Guess we're going to be zip tying one of our injector wires back on, huh? So there's a couple of little O-rings on here in the kit. I'm going to pop those on. These pieces here only go on one way. This piece here slides up in that deal there. If you don't have it right, it won't click into place. See? Right there is supposed to be good, but we could take and whip that around a whole 180 degrees to where those two pegs are, and they don't line up, right? So it's on there. Looks okay. This one's a little bit harder. There we go. See it? All the little holes line up, and that's important because that's where the rotor goes into those. There's two screw holes, and then there's a little peg here. Next is this piece, which is pretty clean. I cleaned it up a little bit last night. That can go over the top. This piece goes over the top of that. Kind of lines up with the holes. Then, there we go. So that popped in pretty easily. I just followed the where that, there's two here, and there's two, and there's two, see the two holes there next to each other? And you can see the peg and the hole next to each other right here. So I just pop it in there. Oop. We can take these little screws. And these little screws have Loctite on them already, so, and I didn't put that on there, so this little kit, it was a little expensive, but it is apparently set up because they know that you're going to be having to take the distributor out to get it. That's, and maybe they want you to replace those two O-rings in the back. That's probably could be what it is. All right, so the piece of rubber out, or plastic out there. Now, one thing I'm concerned about is these fitting. See? Yeah. Yep, that's gonna screw in there, but still don't have a proper tool for that. So we're gonna have to figure that out. That one works pretty good. Feel it grabbing in there. And that one seems to be working. Ooh, maybe not. And here I am at it with the vice grips again, because breaking this stuff one time wasn't enough. Let's do it a second time. So that screws in there. The only way these ones won't. The one screwed into the other one. And there we go again. This is going to sound ridiculous, but I may get this in the car, get this piece on here, get these two in, right? And then zip tie around here. I don't know what else to do. So I have to take it back in the morning and get it tapped out again. There's obviously still something wrong with it. I'm also going to see if I can't find some other bolts to go into it up at Menards or something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So didn't get nothing accomplished tonight. Anyway, um, we'll see you tomorrow, I guess. I went down to the machinist this morning and I got them to drill these out, and then we put different screws in here. Actually, more convenient. They've got a hex, or not a hex, Phillips head on them. So actually just use one of these, tighten it up, and we don't have to have one of those little goofy, whatever that is, right? Like there's this, whatever. Anyway, it all should work together now. Everything's all good. The bolts work with every single hole. We're just going to put it together. So I need to do some cleaning of the area for the water pump with some razor blades. And then we're going to start throwing this back in once I'm done with that. And we'll see how that goes together, I guess. Hopefully this won't take too long. I've got some pounding to do on that little area that has the, where the radiator sits because it's all bubbled up. I'm going to pound that down just a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go out and get to it here. So I don't even know if you remember how beat up this side was. It was pretty caved. It had a big bubble in it, and then this wall was sucked in this way. So I took and pushed up on it with my jack and got this piece to come up right here and hit it with my hammer to flatten it out a little bit, and then I hit the side with my hammer to take it back out. I don't know, eventually it's probably going to need to be replaced if we keep the car. Pretty flimsy, been beat on, or maybe we need to strengthen it with something. That's doable as well. But I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to move on to the next thing and just get it done. All right, so I'm getting ready. I've got everything cleaned up around for the water pump so that we can put it on there, and the gaskets, area is all cleaned off. I'm going to get ready to put this back in. We got to kind of mess around with this knob here, if you can see that. Oh, maybe not, but it goes into this. You can see kind of a wear mark in there, possibly. So we got to get those lined up, and then we should be ready to bolt it in. And there it is. So I'm going to take, I've been cleaning these, I'm cleaning these as we go. I'm going to put that one in, this one here. I'm taking extra caution with this one because I dropped it on the ground and it got all dirty. Okay. Okay, so this one, there's a little vacuum knob here. It goes on right there. That one goes, this other vacuum line goes right here. And then I'm going to put them on in order. And this one. I maybe should have done this a little sooner. Put some thread locker on the end here. And there we go. For after what seems like an eternity, that thing is finally back on there. So then we can do this on this side, just like we did before. On the other side, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, the only thing left is put the coil wire on. It just goes from here to there, but I need to work on that boot yet, so I don't know what I'm going to do about it. But for now, that's where we're going to leave this. Yeah, because I'm going to take and start to put the water pump on, and I'm going to smear some gasket stuff on there, on the gasket, and let it sit for a few minutes so it's stuck to the water pump. And then I'll probably put a little bit on that side and shove the water pump on there. But I got to get all that ready, so we'll see in a little bit. Well, my bench is a mess, as well as the rest of the room again. But car is running. I think there's a fuel filter still needing to be changed. I haven't done that yet. I should do that. I should have done that one of the first things. But it's firing on all cylinders. I'm now just getting ready to put in antifreeze. I have worked on this thing a whole week trying to get it right. And truthfully, some of it was my fault. It wasn't running right. And some of it was the fault of, well, me trusting other people. So it's still my fault. So those Bell plugs that I put in, great set of plugs. Still love them. They're sold at Napa stores. They came and they had all the looming on them, and they were ready to be, were supposed to be ready to just put in, right? Part of it was I put had it flipped upside down on the passenger side of the car. So I was running 2 on the top of the distributor and 4 on the bottom on that side. And then 6 and 8. I ran it that way because, that's the way it came in the looming. I thought that was the proper way to put it on. I ended up checking the firing order. And actually, it's 4 is supposed to go in the top. Then it's supposed to be 6, 8, and 2. Now, one reason I say that it was partially, the spark plug people's or Bell's problem was whoever put that pack together had 6 and 8 reversed. So two cylinders were firing properly, and 2 cylinders weren't firing at all. Which rather have it that way than it to be completely backwards and totally do damage. At least those cylinders weren't firing. Now the pops back through the carburetor, or not carburetor, but through the intake into the throttle body. That was probably not very good for it, but still, since it was because the valves were open when those spark plugs were firing, I think we're going to be okay. So last night I took it all apart, and since I looked it up on the internet to see what the firing order was supposed to be, I put it in the way it was supposed to go. So now it fires, runs on all 8. It's still a little chuggy. It's a little rough idle. So that could be a couple of things. That could still be that mass airflow sensor. Like I keep trying not to buy one of those because they are fairly expensive to get a good one, and I don't want to just throw parts at it if we don't need to. So I'm going to change that fuel filter, which I've had for forever. It's still sitting over here. Where is it? Man, where is it? It's somewhere. Oh, I better put it in this. Did I put it in this box? Here it is. Right here. It's in the water pump box. Don't know why it's there. So that's got to get done. So we did change out that water pump as well. Now I noticed when I went to change this, that really is, well, that's supposed to be a sealed bearing. It is kind of leaking out of here as well, I see. I don't know how long it's been like that, or if it was actually leaking any fluid majorly or not. It didn't seem to be for the short time that I drove it. I guess that's bad. It's a good thing that we changed it. This morning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put antifreeze in it. I did notice some brake issues with the rear. I think I've mentioned that before. And then we're going to drive it for a little while. See what happens. I still need to get a hold of that mechanic who fabricates those exhaust things so that I can get that piece from him to stop that from happening anymore. Well, no, should stop it from happening, but stop it from leaking so much, so it doesn't totally blow that gasket out of there. I think I'm going to try and do that today, and then talk to him about maybe picking it up tomorrow. Anyway, so I'm going to put antifreeze in it, and then work on the brakes, and that'll probably be the brake stuff. Will probably be the next video. I'm going to put a fuel filter in it later. Um, it's got to go over and get the windshield tomorrow over in Mankato, so I got to get that done. I got the title finally changed today. That was a 2-month process. What a boondoggle. I just, yeah, I hope not all of them are like that. So, anyway, I'm going to let you go. So, thanks for joining me, and hope to see you next time. And maybe we'll meet out on the road somewhere, get your junk running too, and maybe we can have some adventure. All right, talk to you later.